Would anybody like to do the land recognition? Screen.
I'll do it if you'd like.
Okay, great, thanks.
We would like to acknowledge the history of the traditional territory on which this university stands. We would also like to respect the long-standing relationships with the 3 local First Nations group of this land in place in southwestern Ontario. The Attawandaron neutral peoples once settled this region alongside the Algonquin and Haudenosaunee people, and used this land as their traditional beaver hunting grounds. The 3 other long-standing Indigenous groups of this geographic region are the Anishinaabe people, also referred to as the Three Fires Confederacy, including Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations. The Haudenosaunee people, also known as the Iroquois people, or 6 nations, including Mohawk, Oneida, Cayuga, Onondaga, Seneca, and Tuscarora, and the Lenape people, also referred to as the Delaware or Munsee. The three First Nations communities closest in proximity to this university are Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, part of the Anishinaabe, Oneida Nation of the Thames, part of the Haudenosaunee, and the Munsee Delaware Nation, part of the Lenape.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Park. I'm just going to do attendance now. AVP Newton. Commissioner Varagunen. Here. Oh, Claire just got here, so I'll wait. Hey, Clara, we're just doing attendance, and you're next. So I'll just say Commissioner Prentice.
Here.
Great. Commissioner Elves.
Here.
Commissioner Bubba.
Here.
Commissioner Gillett.
Here.
Commissioner Anka.
Here.
Commissioner Hodé.
Here.
Commissioner Ricker.
Here.
Sorry, they didn't seem to add the last couple, so I have to copy and paste here. Commissioner Park. Commissioner Park.
Here, sorry, I was having trouble unmuting it.
Okay. Commissioner Weber.
Here.
And Commissioner Zhang.
Here.
Great, thanks.
Sorry, the internet is so slow.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Okay, great, thanks. Comments from the chair. So yes, we just finished semester 1. I know it's been so crazy, and I know a lot of you, this is your first time on council. So I'm just hoping that it was a good learning experience. You got a lot out of the semester. I'm so happy that we're done semester 1. We have about 4 months left. As you may know, we did extend the winter break into January 11th. I'm not quite sure what that means for council yet. We're probably going to look that over the break. We are going to be going over some mid-year report stuff as well as event stuff for next semester. I'm hoping to have like a little bit of an open discussion also at the end, just to talk about like, what do you learn this year? What do you want to see more of? As other stuff like that. I'm super happy that we're officially done. I'm also hoping that we can get a budget update from Chloe. I'm gonna get that out to you guys probably during the break, just because I want to make sure all the events are fulfilled, as well as this is also a reminder that if you did do any event, make sure to get your check rec form in. You can access that through either the OWL or I do believe the website has it as well. So if you spent any money on your budget or in your budget this year, then you can just fill out that form. If you have any questions, either Chloe and I can also answer. So yeah, I just wanted to give a nice little congratulations to all of you, just because I know you guys have put a lot of work into semester one. I think there's a lot of great initiatives and events that happened this semester, and I'm super proud that we were able to overcome a lot of these barriers due to COVID. I know it's been hard and it isn't a typical council experience, but I would just like to acknowledge all you guys. I'm super proud. I know that we've come definitely a long way from where we were in the beginning, and I'm once again excited for happening with things that are going to happen semester two. Um, can I get approval for the agenda?
Commissioner John can be the seconder.
Oh, great, thank you. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I spelled it right. Okay, and we don't have approval of draft minutes from the last couple meetings. So I'm hoping to get those over the break, and then we'll probably approve a couple of them at once. So the first item for discussion is the mid-year reports. So Emily is supposed to be emailing all of us soon. I'd probably maybe reach out to her if you guys can, if you wanted to get a head start on it. I know she was supposed to send it out Tuesday. I think she's just a little bit behind. We are asking some questions on the exec level of like, okay, like we need to get this rolling out. So don't worry too much. I'm sure it'll be out soon. But I did want to go over a couple things. So I know once again, a lot of you are first year on council. But being that I've been on council a couple years in the past, I'm just gonna give a little bit of a heads up from what I know. So typically the mid-year reports, you need to include the TOR. So as you guys may know, we did update a couple of the terms of reference for a lot of our positions on this committee. So I'm just gonna go onto a couple things to kind of give some tips and tricks. So this is my owl. So you all should have the General Assembly on your owl. So I just go into there and then I go into resources. This is where the majority of you guys will have your um, TOR inside. There's also a couple usually mid-year reports from last year, as well as it's kind of just like a landing point for any of the documents that we have. I think you want to go into the council files, and then, oh no, just kidding. I'm not sure. I'm still learning sometimes, and it usually takes me a couple tries to find it. So hopefully this will help. Policies. Okay. Yes. Okay. So it is in here. Ordinary resource terms of reference. So you want to click that. And then usually I would say it's fairly updated frequently. I'm going to go into the top one here. Oop, just kidding. I don't want to download it. And then it's right here. So it was updated December 2020, but I know 5 of you did have your TOR updated. So I can show you a trick on how to get that as well. So you're going to scroll down onto the Vice President Student Life portfolio. So we have the AVP here. Awareness Commissioner, we did update your TOR. I will show you that in a second, as well as wellness. Charity Commissioner, you can just honestly, I would just copy and paste. It's pretty easy to do that. And then you can post it into your mid-year report. Usually you do have to grab these kind of documents. Allyship, Pride and Allyship Commissioner, and Culture and Inclusion, Environmental, volunteer, accessibility, we just updated, international student support, immature and transfer student, we just updated. So this is where you'll typically find the TOR. It's just because we just passed a motion updating 5 of our members, so it hasn't been fully updated yet, but you'll be able to find majority of them. As well, you want to probably copy and paste the general one right here. So this is the general one that applies to any commissioner on our council. So typically you want to grab that as well. I think it goes down to um, about here. So resource members and then ordinary members have speaking rights on council. So typically grabbing the sections that apply to your position. And then obviously it has a co-curricular recognition as well as other things of council. So yeah, I think that I haven't had a chance to look over the new mid-year report template, but typically these things are included. I am also going to show you how to access the new members, or not new members, the new TOR for the 5 positions. So an easy trick to do is I'm on the meeting agenda for November 8th, and then it is an uploaded file that we did. So, just kidding, it's November 29th. Also, it is kind of hidden down at the end of the owl. I don't know if you can see that a little. So I know a couple of people had trouble finding the agenda, but it is just moved a little couple spaces down. Yes, okay, so the amendment to student life resource members. So you want to click on that. If you have any trouble accessing it, it should be able to be uploaded. Anyway, you are probably just copy and pasting anyway. So this is the members. It was the awareness, wellness, accessibility, mature and transfer student and outreach commissioner. And then you also want to grab this. It's easier to just kind of copy and paste it inside. Okay. So I know it might be a little bit difficult, but okay, so I'll do Anissa's. So what you want to do is just copy and paste it all. And then in order to remove, I know that there is lines inside of it. If you're working in Google Docs, oh my goodness, it's slow. Oh yes, okay. If you're working in Google Docs, what you can do is you can go into format and then you do clear formatting. So it will change the color back, but what you want to do is just probably delete it if you wanted to, but if you need to get rid of any lines, that's a quick way to do it as well. So anything that is not crossed out, that's officially part of your TOR, so you want to make it probably the right color because it is in red, all the new stuff that was added. If you have any trouble with that, let me know. But other than that, you can just be able to copy and paste this from this document. And I think that's it. Is there any questions at all about the mid-year reports?
So you said that Emily was going to
All
be
right, name and
releasing.
position.
I'm so sorry. Commissioner Park, Accessibility Commissioner. You mentioned that Emily was going to be emailing us. I don't have a terms of reference to fall back on. Like, I don't have a mid-year report for anybody in this position since it's new this year.
Mhm.
So will she, like, what would you recommend doing until she emails me?
Well, what you can do is all the mid-year reports are uploaded on OWL. I think we were just there. So if you wanted to, you could look at other members of the portfolio. I can show you. So I would typically like, I know it's hard to say because your position was up this year, but I think the majority of them have all been uploaded onto OWL for the last at least 7 years. So if you wanted to, you could probably look through the old wellness commissioner, awareness commissioner, outreach commissioner if you wanted to. So I'll show you where that is. I think, yeah. Okay. So once again, resources. And I think it was in the first one that I clicked on. So it was in council files. Oh, just kidding. I don't know why I keep going into that one. Policies. And then there is, oh my goodness. I know that the owl is a little bit complicated, so it usually takes me a couple tries, even I don't know. Okay, yes, it's all here. So this is all the end year reports, as well as the mid-year reports from last year. So if you want, you can probably just click on these and look through them to kind of get an example of how students have done them in the past. There's lots of them to choose from. Probably the one that's most similar to your position, I want to say, is the Pride and Allyship one. It should be in here somewhere. Yes, report for diversity or Pride and Diversity Commissioner. So yeah, I would just go through any of those. You don't have to just stick to the ones that are for your position if you want. They're all accessible to you guys. So it is possible to do it. So yeah. Is there any other questions?
Yes. Commissioner Weber, mature and transfer student commissioner. Just to confirm, the content is the same, but just the formatting is different this year. Like that's why we're getting an update. Okay.
Yes. What happened in the past was it was really hard to change the I don't know how to say it. The format as well as the I forget what it's called. The font size and like the font size color. I don't know why. Like sometimes I was writing in red and I was like, this is so annoying. Like I cannot figure this out. So we're just trying to fix up some of those errors just because I don't know if my mid-year report's up here from last year, but it is a little bit easier. I think Emily's trying to make it more accessible, as well as maybe add a couple things because I don't think the mid-year reports have been updated in a couple of years. So it is kind of around the lines. I want to say it's probably saying similar to how we structured it in the past, but just more in like, I think Emily's probably going to do it in a Google Doc or something like that, where people are more like they're more common to using it just because it's a lot harder. I think it was inside some weird, I don't even think it was Word or like something like that. It was something completely different. But I don't really see much change happening from it. But other than that, once I get to see it as well from Emily, I might give a quick like comment on our Facebook group as well of stuff that I learned.
Great. Commissioner Weber, thanks.
Great. Is there any other questions? No. Okay. We will move on to our next item on the agenda or for discussion. So just events for next semester. I know we talked about this in the last meeting, but I just wanted to give another quick update of the schedule. I know a couple of you guys didn't have exact times or dates. I think, yeah, this needs to be updated. Okay. But once you know the dates of your events, please let me know. So I think,
Commissioner Weber, I can add a date.
okay, great.
Do you want me to tell you now or later?
Yeah.
Okay. I was talking to Catherine Ann, and should be that December 20th at 2 p.m. We're having our Christmas event for
Okay.
students and staff, families and children.
On December the 10th?
20th.
Oh, sorry. Great. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Is there any other dates that we would like to update to this?
Commissioner Anka, I have a really quick question.
Yeah.
So, just because like I'm gonna be doing the survey, I'm not sure like specifically what I'm doing yet. I'm obviously gonna work on it during the break, but I was just wondering what you think or like when I should do it.
I think maybe the end of January would probably
End
be
of
good.
January?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else folks would like me to add.
I'm not, oh, sorry, Commissioner Weber. I'm not sure if this got added. It was a past event I just did this past weekend on Sunday. What was that date? November 29th.
I do have mature and transfer student event at the end of November.
Okay, yes, great. So it's already added in.
Yeah.
Correct.
Commissioner Olves, Chair and Commissioner, I see that you have cocoa and cram at the end of December, but obviously that didn't happen. So
Yes. I'll take that out.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other updates, that's okay. We still have some time. I know this is a difficult time of year, so we'll always reflect on this probably back in January when you guys can give me more updates. And the last thing, I just want to do an open discussion for next semester. So kind of like what we've learned, what you're wanting to see more of, if there's any questions, kind of a reflection of how this semester went for this year. If anybody would like to speak.
Commissioner Weber, I have just one piece. I guess for me, I would love to collaborate more on like event ideas. I often find I'm by myself trying to come up with stuff, and I'm sometimes a little bit burnt for ideas. So I would love to have like a little breakout room, just like just have a more intimate chance to talk about what people are doing. Because I feel bad because I know in our meetings we're all crunched for time.
Yeah.
But a little pod would be really cool to kind of get some ideas.
Yeah, if you wanted to, what we can maybe do is add into our advocacy committees, or are you looking for a general counsel?
I guess either or.
Okay. I can speak to Emily about possibly adding the pods. I know it's probably because we're missing that face-to-face interaction now. So like typically at the beginning of ender council meetings, you'll have the opportunity to kind of like talk to people, where like I do agree that we are kind of missing that component just because we're not in person, and typically it's more formal when we're inside our general council meetings. One of the good things that I think Kat's doing is on Wednesdays, she's kind of doing a virtual like student just hangout over Zoom. So if you were ever looking for those kind of face-to-face interactions, I know a lot of council members go to those. So you could always probably reach out to there and talk to other people. But that's good to know as well. I know where you're coming from.
Awesome. Thank you.
Is there anything else?
Commissioner Ricker,
Mhm.
I just thought that this term, like the events that at least like most of council put out, I think everyone did a really great job. I learned a lot about forms this term. I had to submit a bunch for Pride Week, and that was pretty crazy. But it all worked out really well, and I'm very proud of everybody. Everyone's event was awesome, and it was really good. So yeah.
Great, thanks, Libby. Yes, I know the forms were very difficult in the beginning. I know that there is a lot of them, but I think you guys really were able to overcome that barrier. And one of the good things about next semester is that you already have this kind of like trial and error period. So you're able to kind of know exactly what to do for next semester. So it is a little bit easier, I find, to fulfill events because you're already just kind of like familiar with the process and everything like that as well.
Yeah, Commissioner Weber, just to add on to that, I absolutely agree. I think that this semester went so well for the challenges that we faced. And I'm just so appreciative to be in this kind of group. Just learning so much about how to reach students, how to help them. And, I really appreciate everyone's efforts. And like I said, the events went really well for all the challenges that were faced.
Great, thank you.
Commissioner Gillett, I think one thing I know, like the barrier of online, but for next semester, next term, I want to like get over that barrier of having like, I know for Instagram posts, like a lot of council members post. So just trying to get over that barrier of like connection with a greater amount of students. I don't know if we do something in residence or something like that, but more engagement, but I know that's hard again, but that's something I want to work at as a whole moving forward.
Yeah, I know we're really trying to build that connection with the residence council. That's what Emily Petch is trying to do. We're trying to get Dana to come to our council meetings as well. But I know what you're seeing. Like, I think this year, especially, it's been hard just because everything's been so targeted online. Luckily, I think we started with 900-ish, a little bit less than 900 followers on Instagram. We're up to like 1,070 now. So like we are working our way up. So I'm super proud of you guys just being like, okay, follow us, like trust me, follow us. And then I have been noticing there has been an increase in engagement. But of course, to put it in perspective, I think Huron is a similar size to us and they have 1,300 followers. So I know Paula kind of has this goal in her head of like, okay, we need to like catch up to Huron. But on the other hand, Kings has, I think, 3 times as students as us, and they have less followers than Huron. So it is kind of just nice to kind of see in comparison to the affiliates. But yeah, I always like to check those numbers as well. But as always, I think it's always great when I see you guys posting and sharing our just events or whatever were happening. Usually there is a typical incentive of some sort as well. So it is kind of nice to get people to kind of follow and contribute to a lot of the posts. But of course, it is harder because I know some people aren't as familiar with Instagram and they prefer to use Facebook. And with us, um, almost the entire Stressmas event is on Instagram. So we've had to post a lot of stuff on Facebook instead. And I know some people don't like Facebook at all or they have trouble with it. So they only like Instagram. So it is a little bit harder with the back and forth, but I try usually with our portfolio to do everything on both platforms. But sometimes it's a little bit easier to do stuff on Instagram just because we have different options. For instance, just like um, the story to use, where I guess Facebook does have the story, but I don't know. My mom's on Facebook, so it's a little bit like,
Commissioner Gillett again, just to add on to that, but even events, I know like when I'm trying to plan an event, I'm like, what can I do online? And it's like the only thing that I can think of that will engage people is like a giveaway. And I don't want to be like that typical giveaway event because I know we're doing a lot of those, but I know it's one of the few ways we can reach those people. So
yeah.
I mean, anything works in the end, and main goal is to reach people no matter how. So whatever works.
Yeah, great. Yeah, exactly, Grace. Typically in the past, there was always an incentive, usually food. So council has kind of run off of this incentive approach just because I know I put on events where like students sometimes just come for like a cup of coffee, but at least it gets them in the room and they're able to like socialize and talk to people. So it is kind of nice as well as trying to give back to the students as much as we can. But yeah, that's a good point as well.
Yeah, Commissioner Weber, I agree. That is a challenge. And I've seen like, I really like the idea of picking up a art kit from the main campus and doing it over Zoom together. I thought that was such a cute idea that I noticed that Kat did. But one challenge I do have with the whole social media is keeping track of all of the files or anything, resources that we post. I find they sometimes get buried in the feeds. And I'm wondering if the main website, we can make sure that everything always gets posted there to refer to so that I'm not like, I don't know, I was trying to find something, I remember this past semester and I could not find it in the feeds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Initially, our website only got into kind of the works this year, the last couple of years. It hasn't really been working at all. As well as Paula, over the break, she is going to be switching over to a better email system. So I know that Nerd ISP is a little bit sketchy. It's hard to find emails and stuff like that as well. But I think once we get G Suite, probably like in the past, usually email is like probably the go-to for council. But when it comes to actual posts, I know what you're saying of just like there should be like kind of like a landing platform for all this stuff. But yeah, I think it's a little bit harder just because I don't know. Owl, we're also trying to use. This has really been a trial and error probably year, I would say. I'm just trying to figure out different ways in order to get information out to council. But it is kind of nice to know that you kind of want just one area where like you can find everything. But I think typically I can't even see, like, I want to say owl probably needs a little bit more. Um, but yeah, I'll definitely bring it up to the other execs just to kind of being like, can we have some kind of like landing platform of like where we keep everything? But yeah.
Mhm. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. If there is no other comments, there's nothing for action, so we can probably adjourn. Unless anybody has any other comments at all. I'm probably not going to do the next hour just because I know that a lot of you do have some stuff to do in final projects, but I will stick around if any of you would like to talk at all or discuss anything. So yeah, can I get a motioner for the meeting adjournment?
Motion, Commissioner Baba.
Great, thanks. And can I get a seconder?
Commissioner Weber?
Okay, I heard Weber first. um, okay. So I will leave it. I will be putting out a poll at the probably during the break of when we're going to have our standing committees, just because I know all of our class schedules do change. So it probably won't be on Thursdays anymore. But I'll try to give you guys enough time to fill out the doodle poll as well as a good break. It'll probably be in January as just kind of some insight, just so I know that you guys are done your mid-year reports and you're able to just kind of settle down a little bit. But other than that, I will be on Zoom if you guys have any other questions or anything like you would like to talk about.
Before we break, I just wanted to ask, I am in need of a Santa for my event. So if anyone who would like to be Santa or some family member, that would be like hugely appreciated. Unless I'm going to be Santa, Miss Santa, I guess. But and also, is there a Santa suit anywhere? Does anyone know?
I don't think so. I cleaned the entire office some like in the summer and I didn't see we have a lot of Santa Claus like decorations and stuff like that and like Christmas stuff, but I don't think we have a Santa suit.
You can probably order one on Amazon for like really cheap. Like you can probably get one for maybe like $15 on Amazon. Like you can probably just get like the coat and the hat, I would think.
Okay. Okay, great. Thanks, Claire.
I'm gonna stop recording.